Good evening. You're watching State of Business on our television. This is Zinat Musafir. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Prime Minister launches 5-year national export strategy. Department of Commerce unveils Sri Lanka's trade information portal. News in details. The much-awaited 5-year National Export Strategy Plan was launched by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Temple Trees last evening. The National Export Strategy aims to increase export earnings up to $28 billion by 2022 through strengthening emerging sectors and diversifying exports.
The key objective of the National Export Strategy is to increase the capacity of Sri Lanka's export sector and to improve trade performances. Its competitiveness ensures that our different sectors of the economy become more competitive to get a share of the global market. This is not only a strategy it's not only a national export strategy, it's also a jobs and income strategy. We are talking deepening the FTA with India. After the Singapore FTA, who comes in? Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. We'll cover the whole Bay of Bengal, which are going to be our new markets. So the FTAs that we have launched. Then, to drive our entrepreneurs, we have launched Enterprise Sri Lanka. We are opening up new industrial estates. We will be establishing a development bank, but before the bank is established, we'll ensure 10 billion rupees are available to the local industrialists.
Addressing the launch ceremony, Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade, Malik Samara Wickrama, stated that Sri Lanka's exporters should not be afraid of competition.
Anyone who says that we should be careful before opening up because we might not be able to compete is doing Sri Lanka a huge injustice. Why should we be afraid of competing with the world? Look at some of the exporters we have today. Our medical gloves are used by the world's best surgeons. Our electronic sensors are used in the world's top car brands. Our apparels are worn by the world's top athletes. And our IT software is used by the world's leading stock exchanges. We can compete, and our industries are already showing how it is done. For those sectors identified as priority sectors under this strategy, the purpose is to focus our minds, the minds of the government officials, the minds of the enterprises in these sectors, the minds of international investors and business partners, and the minds of development partners who want to help us. To focus us to work on these sectors on an urgent and fast-track basis for the next 5 years.
During an event held in Colombo recently, Chairperson of Sri Lanka's Export Development Board, Indira Malwatta, says that Sri Lanka needs to focus on its main two pillars of economic development, exports and foreign direct investments. She further stated that local procedures need to be simplified in order to attract foreign investment into the country.
One of the proposals that were brought for the NTB that is being paid for the service cutting of stones, because the actual value of the stone it's more on the service charges that we are paying, and that was impeding the industry. And it won't be before long where it will get gazetted that the NBT will be removed of rough stones imported for cutting and polishing for exports. We are about to launch tomorrow the national export strategy of our country, and we have very ambitious targets. Last year we were able to achieve $15.4 billion of exports, well above the target that was set, so much so that the targets for 2018 has been raised in consultation with the stakeholders, and we are supposed to achieve a $17.5 billion, and our target for 2025 is to achieve a $28 billion exports. It's heavy target, but we are confident. The cooperation we have with the private sector is such that we are very confident that we will be able to achieve it. We have now achieved, we are in the middle income group, so we can't be depending on commercial loans. So we have to see possibilities of getting our own foreign exchange. So one pillar of economic development would be exports, and the other would be the FDIs that should come to Sri Lanka. So even to get FDIs in these sectors, we have to have our procedures simplified so that it becomes attractive for people to come to Sri Lanka.
We're going in for a short break. Do stay tuned for more news after these commercials. Welcome back. The Department of Commerce, in collaboration with the National Trade Facilitation Committee with the support of the World Bank and the Australian High Commission, launched the Sri Lanka Trade and Information Portal in Colombo today. The Sri Lanka Trade Information Portal is the latest government initiative to increase access to information related to cross-border trade and to comply with the World Trade Organization's Trade Facilitation Agreement. The portal will house over 1,000 laws, regulations, procedures and other measures affecting trade maintained by 42 government agencies. The new portal aims to improve the predictability and transparency of the country's business environment, especially the small and medium enterprises, and provides foreign and domestic investors with quick and timely access to trade and regulations.
This is the first such initiative in Sri Lanka's international trade. TIP is prioritized for implementation in the WTO TFA implementation plan of Sri Lanka, and it is also an integral part of the trade policy and export promotion strategy at national level. With the official launch and operation of this port, we believe that our business community and other stakeholders will be provided with a useful tool to find the information necessary to facilitate their import-export activities and achieve $28 billion exports by 2022. This would facilitate SMEs in expanding their trading opportunities at a lower cost and shorter time.
Addressing the event, the Australian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka and Maldives, Bryce Hutchinson, says that more measures need to be put in place to open doors to trade and investment if Sri Lanka is to achieve sustainable economic growth.
The Trade Information Portal and the SWIFT initiative of a couple of months ago, or ongoing initiative, highlight the Sri Lankan government's commitment to facilitating and growing trade and investment in this country. They also provide these initiatives concrete affirmation of the readiness of the Australian government and the World Bank to assist Sri Lanka on its economic reform journey. I think we'd all acknowledge that more needs to be done to open doors to trade and investment if Sri Lanka is to achieve the truly sustainable and inclusive economic growth that it seeks and to realise its aspiration of becoming a hub, an economic hub in the Indian Ocean region. Sri Lanka needs to reduce the costs for its own exporters and to make it easier for Sri Lankan businesses to link into international supply chains. And this will help create jobs right across the country.
The Hotel Show Colombo 2018, organised by the Ceylon Hotel School Graduates Association together with its professional event partner CDC Events, began in Colombo today. The event, which will be held until the 22nd of July 2018, will showcase products and services representing thousands of global brands and is expected to attract local and international invitees and buyers from Sri Lanka, Maldives, Seychelles, India and other South Asian countries. The show, which is South Asia's largest trade show for hotels, restaurants, cafes and catering services, brings together buyers in the industry and sellers who manufacture and supply an array of raw materials, as well as providers of design, marketing services and management. It also provides hotels the opportunity to showcase the talents of their staff at various competitions under the purview of international judges. Key areas of hospitality such as National Barista Championship, National Tabletop Cooking, National Room Stylist Challenge, Culinary Masterclass, Ceylon Tea Masters Cup and the Colombo Food Fest will be held concurrently with the event. We're going in for a short break. Do stay tuned to see how the stocks perform today after these commercials. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all-share price index gained 8.15 points to close at 6,191.17 and the S&P SL 20 gained 10.67 points to close at 3,400.43. The turnover was 207.1 million rupees and 14.7 million shares were traded. Next is Forex rates. That's all the news we have for you today. Join us tomorrow with Biz Roundup on our television. Until then, take care and good night.